Hey everyone! So not too long ago, I recorded some videos telling you guys about angel signs, and I wanted to tell you some more fun stories about like manifesting with the angels. So just first off, like about manifestation in general, it was brought to my attention recently that there are people, which I knew this, but I like thought it through a little bit deeper. And there are people who have manifestation journals who will literally like write down things over and over and over again, day after day. Some people will write things 50 times or pick a number every day. Or sometimes they won't write as much, but they'll write things down a lot of the time. And obviously, of course, like that is a known manifestation technique, as is vision boards and similar things. But there is an important aspect to manifesting that you need to realize, is that you have to truly believe that it will come to fruition. Like, if you don't believe it deep down inside, you can write as much as you want, it doesn't matter, because the universe is responding to what you feel inside, not responding to you writing it. Okay? I think the writing it is supposed to help you believe it, but ultimately, like I said, you have to actually believe it deep down inside. Otherwise, my phone just wanted to tell me that it's going to die soon, so I have to do this quickly. So yeah, ultimately you have to believe it deep down, or it doesn't matter. Like, you can write it a million times, and you won't manifest it if you don't really believe it. So keep that in mind. And also, when it comes to the twin flame journey, you can't manifest union. You have to go with the flow and allow things to unfold how they need to. Your twin flame will return, but not until they are ready, not until they have gone through all of the necessary healing. Because by you trying to manifest it, it's not that different from trying to do spells. Like, it's not the same, because spells introduce karma that you can't undo. So you're not trying to force, but with manifestation, trying to manifest union, you are trying to like make it happen for yourself before it's necessarily ready. And you have to remember that there's another person involved, and that person has to be ready. There is no point in bringing them back to you if they're not ready yet, because then you're just going to go into separation again. They have to go, don't do it. They have to get through their healing process. They have to be fully rebirthed. They have to be ready. I mean, it doesn't have to be 100%. There's a certain amount of healing you can go through together. It's like a certain percentage. I want to say like 80%, but they do have to be ready. So remember that also, okay? Okay, so moving on to the angel manifestation stories. I said that funny, that's why I had to look. I will say that it was a process over time of me fully believing, fully trusting in spirit, just from the evidence spirit was providing for me. And that was probably because it wasn't that I didn't believe or didn't have faith, but it was that being an evidence-based person, and being a logical person, I needed that physical evidence to help me like have that faith no matter what. Like, for example, here's an example. Now I 100% trust spirit with my finances, like, because it was a big leap for me, switching to trusting my business, like as my primary source of income over another job. And I still do have secondary forms of income, and work that I do, but my business is my primary now. And it was the pandemic that kind of forced that to happen. But I have seen, like, over the course of the past, I don't know, 3 to 4 years, I guess. No, probably longer than that now. Probably 4 to 5 years. I have seen how spirit has almost controlled my finances, which I know sounds crazy. And like I said, like, I'm not 100% there yet. It's still growing, because I still have to have other forms of income, and I still, I'm still not 100%, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the right word. I know it's like there, but not there. I still need other forms of income, okay? But I have seen spirits like control. Honestly, I can't think of another word. Control over my finances in positive ways, of course. I am protected from negative influences on that, for the most part, usually. But so I literally now have like a monthly budget meeting with Spirit so that I know what to expect from my business, and then I can plan accordingly in other aspects. And it's to the point now where I don't feel stressed. Like, I don't get anxious or stressed at all about finances now, because I know Spirit is going to take care of me. And it's kind of funny because the way this started, like, this Spirit started this process of me having this deep amount of faith and trusting Spirit within this respect, is that last year I would notice that periods of when my business would get slow or when it would speed up. And when it would get slow, it would make me anxious, of course, because I'm like, Spirit, I have bills coming up. Ta-da, there's light. So anyway, my business, if you've been in my Etsy shop, it states on there that my wait list for my orders is about 1 to 3 weeks out, depending on the month and the time of year and various factors. Like, sometimes it's 1 to 2 weeks, sometimes it's 2 to 3 weeks. It really just depends, and I just put 1 to 3 to be safe. But anyway, so the time I noticed that the times when my orders would slow down would end up corresponding to a week that I would end up being really busy, and I wouldn't have had time to complete the orders that would have come in if my business had not slowed down. And then as soon as I got past that time period, I would get an influx of orders again. And I realized that Spirit was doing that because Spirit knew things that I didn't. And Spirit knew that I was going to have that week coming up where I wouldn't have time. So Spirit slowed down my orders to give me that little reprieve to get through that little rough patch or whatever it may have been, and then would bring the flow right after. I've noticed that Spirit 100% divinely times many of the orders. I feel like it's a stretch to say all of them, because why does every single reading need to be at a specific time? But there have been many times that clients have said to me, I received this like exactly when I needed to, like the exact day, because something happened that's exactly when they needed it. And so I've noticed that Spirit times a lot of things with the moon cycles as well, particularly the healings and various healings, because the cord cutting is the same. So Spirit will give me exact dates on when to do those. And it's funny too, because I do not look at the calendar beforehand, and I will ask for, what date do you want me to do whatever it is? And then I will go and look at the calendar, and sure enough, it corresponds with a full moon, a new moon, some other astrological event like the solstice, or maybe sometimes there's another period, like between the third quarter moon and the new moon is actually the best time to do releasing rituals, not the full moon, even though people usually think it's the full moon. I mean, I'm sure that's powerful too, but that's actually the best time. So sometimes Spirit will have me do a cord cutting in that phase between the third quarter and the new moon. But like, it never fails that's always when it is. And then there have been times that I've double checked the date at different points in time, and I still get the exact same date. So like, that has been really like amazing to me how Spirit does that. I know that clients have been guided to me through Etsy and Instagram and stuff. Like, they've told me that it was like almost like they even heard a voice saying, talk to her. So yeah, so just know that, if you're following me, Spirit guided you to me. And sometimes in like amazing ways that are surprising. And also, like, if you ever order from me, and like, know that sometimes Spirit divinely times when you're going to receive your orders or your healing or whatever too. So keep that in mind. But going back to the income thing, yeah, like I started recognizing that Spirit was doing that. And once I recognized that, I just kind of completely put the power in Spirit's hands. And I remember last year for the 8/8 for the Lionsgate portal, I was participated in excuse me, I had to sneeze, and I might sneeze again, but I participated in a Lionsgate portal collective, what was it? Some type of transmission, and part of it was financial related, at least, or abundance and finances. So in it, I remember I had to decide on something to state my intentions, like write it down. And when I did that, I literally said, Spirit, my finances are in your hands. You can decide like how much I'm going to make, how frequently, all that stuff. Like, it's all in your hands. Because I recognized at that point how Spirit was doing this. And so, like I said, now I literally have a monthly budget meeting. Majority of the time, I will make exactly what I'm told that I will make. The times that it's been a little bit different, I know there have been reasons for that have been external factors that Spirit had to adjust for. So I'm able to recognize that and continue to go with the flow, if that makes sense. But that's one example. That is one example for how I've seen Spirit at play in my life. I got interrupted. There were some people that came outside, and Nala was barking, so I had to stop and wait, and you missed the rest of the sunset. I'm so sorry. But hopefully you got all the nature codes before that. Okay, to pick up where I left off, although I finished that story, so I wanted to go into more funny angel manifestation stuff. We're just working with them. Like, I literally will just like talk to Spirit in my head, and they'll just like help with things. Like, I have literally, like, I can just think to myself, help me with this, or, prompt this, start that, whatever, like, just whatever it is, ask something, and I can get, like, answers or results or whatever, like, almost immediately sometimes, depending on what it is. It's like I have, like, a little notification go off in my brain, like notifications on your phone, but it's like it goes off in my brain, and, like, something will, like, come to mind, and I know that that's Spirit helping. But there's so many examples. So, like, one example, when I'm talking about the notifications going off in my brain, when I'm starting the washer, I let it fill up to a certain point with the soapy water before I put the clothes in, and then I'll go do stuff and whatnot. And if I weren't paying attention, I could easily forget, which happens sometimes. But I swear to God, especially lately, it's like that, like, notification goes off in my head, and it's like, you need to go put the clothes in the washer. Or it'll be for other things too, like when I'm cooking, if something has to sit for a while, and, like, whether it's pasta boiling or something, I'll go do stuff, and I'll, like, go to my computer, my desk or something, I'll be doing something, and then I swear to God, it's like that internal alarm clock. You need to go check the pasta. You need to go check whatever. But it's not like out of fear or worry or anything like that. It's literally like, it's time. And I go and look, and sure enough, it's ready. It's like that intuition thing. This happens with me and my best friend too, because she and I both tend to cook intuitively. And I gave her a recipe that I have for pumpkin crisp, but my grandmother didn't write down how much to put of the nutmeg and cinnamon. So, like, when I make it, I just feel it. Like, I know how much to put. I feel it. Spirits of my ancestors cooking through me. So when I did it for her the first time she made it, she was adding it, and it's funny because she's sitting there cooking it, and I'm like walking around pacing behind her talking, and then she's adding the cinnamon and nutmeg, and at the exact same time she says, "Is that enough?" And like, literally before she even said it, I said, "That's enough." Like, Spirit said it to both of us at the same time. Speaking of my best friend, we were playing cards last week or the week before, and, like, again, it's my family card game from my grandparents, like, passed down through the generations, and I've always been, like, a master at it. Like, I honestly think a lot of it is just intuition. Like, I know what to do quickly. Like, I don't really think it through that much. And so we were playing, and I was doing really well. And I was winning, like, most of the hands, because it's 5 hands. And the last hand, there was one card that I picked it up, and as I'm putting it in my hand, I'm thinking, why did I pick that up? Like, it might have been more beneficial to me to pass it, but I just intuitively did it. And then what ended up happening after that is I kept getting wild card after wild card after wild card, and that wouldn't have happened if I hadn't shifted the flow by picking up that card. I was laughing at how many wild cards I got at that point. And sure enough, like, my best friend said that she didn't get any. And hold on. So at that point, like I had laid down, you know, I wasn't, it was going to be a tight game, but like she couldn't catch me like with all my cards in my hand. So I literally, once I found out that that little shift had given me a flow of wild cards, in my head I was like, Spirit, you're not going to give her a chance. And sure enough, like after that, after I had that little thought process to Spirit, she came back and she won the round, and then she ended up beating me in the game by like 5 points. And I was like, oh, thanks, Spirit. Like, I didn't care. And I told her, I was like, that's so funny because it looked like I was going to like sweep. And then I said, Spirit, you're not going to give her a chance. and then Spirit allowed her to win. And I was like, that's so funny how I literally had those thought processes. Because I 100% believe it now that it's, you know, Spirit at play also. The alarm clock thing, well, the notification thing, alarm clocks. I figured out a long time ago that I could ask Spirit to help me wake up and to like be an alarm clock for me. And I noticed how Spirit was helping anyway. Like even if it's really hard for me to wake up in the morning because I have delayed sleep phase syndrome. So I'm never a morning person ever. And I have like multiple alarm clocks that go. And unless I have a specific reason that I have to get up, I will usually snooze until I'm ready to get up. So when I have to get up, Spirit will cause things to happen to help me along the way. Like whether it's something with my dog or my daughter or a phone call or whatever, like I have noticed that things will happen that will force me to wake up. In fact, just the other day, I knew Spirit was trying to wake me up and I was kind of ignoring it. I was like, but I just want to sleep. So you know what happens? My dog puked in her sleep. Like she was literally laying there in her sleep and regurgitated and puked. And I was like, well, that's one way to make me get up. But once I started realizing that Spirit was helping me wake up, I started like testing it and I started using it more. And I would like let myself fall asleep without setting an alarm. And before I would fall asleep, I would say, Angels, can you wake me up by 2:30? Like, but I would specify to him like, and like I have to be up by 2:30, not wake up, but get up, because there's a difference for me. And I say this because when I'm on delayed sleep phase syndrome, if I'm on a nighttime schedule, I will have to nap during the daytime because I won't get enough sleep at night. And at the time, it was 2:30 because I would have to get up at a certain time to leave and get my daughter. So sure enough, whatever time it was that I asked Spirit to make sure that I would get up by, without a doubt, I would wake up. Like something would wake me up or I would naturally wake up. I can't remember exactly how right now, and it would be vary depending on the day. But when it was a case like that where I had to get up for some reason, if I could, and I did it multiple times, I did not set my alarm and I just said, Angels, will you please make sure that I get up by whatever time? And it always worked. The only times that I didn't actually have to get up, I just wanted to. And I have noticed that Spirit like will want me to get a proper amount of sleep, and sometimes will be like basically like force me to sleep instead. And I've seen that other times, like ever since 2020, all of the different Ascension upgrades that have been happening, I have had days where like I have slept for like 20 hours. Like I've slept for the majority of 1, 2, sometimes even 3 days. But then it'll flip and I'll be awake for the majority of 1, 2, 3 days. Like I'm like, what the heck? Like my body adjusts to whatever is going on and what Spirit wants me to do, or the astrological or Ascension stuff, like whatever. I know I can just control my sleep schedule now practically, because I can literally go for days sleeping, days not sleeping. You know, I can flip back and forth from a daytime schedule to a nighttime schedule. Like it's kind of crazy, to be honest. But anyway, but there is one time that I was taking a nap, and I swear to God, I really did feel someone hit me on the head, like, wake up. I was like, I'm awake. So, but that was only one time. The other times it was cool, but hard to explain. going back to being able to ask for stuff and receive it spontaneously, there was this one time that I was out driving and I knew that a certain client for my local business was going to put in an order that day, and I wanted to pick it up while I was out. So I literally thought to myself, Spirit, can you please prompt so-and-so to put her order in right now while I'm out? And sure enough, within 30 minutes, she put her order in, and I was able to pick it up on my way. So like stuff like that is what I'm talking about, that I can have like instant manifestation. And excuse me, I truly believe that part of the reason for that is because I fully believe it and trust it. I also think that when I'm driving and walking, Spirit guides me or guides my car. Like so many times walking in the backyard, there's tons of dog poop. I never step in it and I don't look. Sometimes I'm barefoot. Like I swear to God, I think there's a guardian angel who's with me, guiding me everywhere I go. I love it.